Hi there, Paul Markham here, and I am in Washington, D.C. at the Sojourners Mobilization and Poverty event. And I'm making this video for the folks that I've met through Facebook. A lot of you, maybe even all of you, I've talked to and had a conversation with you about your interests and your story and how you fit into this whole idea of making the world a better place. But I've created a temporary blog, and you've got the link. It's sojomobilization.blogspot.com, and I'm going to do my best starting now of updating you about what's going on here. If you're not able to be at the event, maybe this will help a little bit, fill you in on the kind of things that are going on, and also maybe pose some questions to you through the blog, and really hope that you'll comment on this. And I don't continue sort of a little dialogue here for a bit, and continue to learn together. But so I got here today, and first of all, right when you arrive in D.C., with the Roman architecture and everything, you sort of get the feeling that you're coming into this sort of center of power, and that's true at any time. But it went from that. Got here, went down. The opening ceremony was in Shiloh Baptist Church, right down on, I believe it's maybe 9th and P. I think yeah, 9th and P. And it was just like probably 800,000 people or so there. It was a good long service, but great traditional, just this great African American choir. It was just good. It was really sort of a good service, deep theological sort of foundations to this idea of justice. And Jim Wallace said a few words. Some other speakers shared. Congressman John Lewis was the key. Was the message, I guess. But it's Baptist church, so if you know anything about that, everybody that spoke had a message. But at any rate, it was good. Did just this really good job of connecting what Sojourners is about, really, this idea of faith, and it was very much explicitly Christian faith with a very Baptist flair tonight. Maybe that's not true all the time, but maybe it's because of where we were in Shiloh Baptist Church, but that was clear. And then and the idea of justice. What's poverty? What are we going to do about ending poverty? John Lewis got several standing ovations from the crowd. He says, we're going to have universal health care. He says no one is illegal, and speaking of immigration. And then had something else that was inspirational that I can't remember what it was. But I have good notes. I just can't remember right now. But that was the opening. Had communion. But here's sort of my question for you, and I hope you'll comment about this. I actually kind of surprised at the demographic right off the bat. The very first sort of group of people I met was it was probably 6 or 8 women, 35 to 65, say, age. And they had T-shirts that were made for them, you could tell, and it said Sisters of St. Mary, and on the back, End Poverty. So it was clear it was sort of Catholic sisters there. And so, and then there was, walk past them going toward registration at the church, and there was sort of college girls here, So an interesting group. It's clear there was not just Baptists, but there's Catholics in there. The racial mix was interesting. I'm gonna guess, 80-20 white, maybe 70-30 white. But an interesting thing, the age. I think maybe I was expecting sort of a young, 20-something, maybe early 30-something, sort of emergent looking, like going to an emergent church meeting or something. But not at all. the average age was probably 30. I'm gonna say just totally surveying the crowd, 35 or something. You know, just cursory glance. But and I had dinner with a couple of folks that were here years ago protesting Vietnam. So we got one demographic that have been doing this business for a long time. You know, like sort of a Jim Wallace type. You know, been protesting war, been involved in advocating policy issues for a while, and then but there's this new segment that really like me. You know, I'm 35, so you know my age and younger that are white, sort of in a privileged class, as it were, and you know, where activism for us has been something quite different than those that are sort of beaten up through the civil rights movement. So I think we're sort of getting our activism legs in some way, and maybe we're going to be thinking of new ways of being creative in terms of our activism. I don't know. That's just on my mind. So my question for you is, what do you think's happening with this sort of the 20-something, 30-something crowd in terms of how we're going to be activists? How are we going to do that? Is it going to look like the activism of the 60s? Or is it going to be that plus something, or something totally different? So that's it. That's my question for you. Type it out there. Please do comment if you have any thoughts, and I'll keep you updated as things happen here. Thanks. See ya.